Excavations and trench cave-ins account for a growing number of fatalities and serious injuries in construction. Such accidents seldom have a single specific cause. Usually there is a series of separate, yet related causes resulting from such factors. With little or no warning, an unsupported, improperly shored or sloped trench or excavation wall collapse, trapping the workers below in seconds. Active measures on the part of everyone to prevent cave-ins and other job accidents will pay big dividends for everyone. As professionals in the construction business, it's the only way to go. This short program is simply an overview of excavation and trench safety basics. Each company must know and understand current state or federal regulations pertaining to trenches, excavations, and shoring requirements. This program is not intended to explain these regulations, but to make everyone more aware of their responsibilities when working in, near, or around excavations or trenches. Planning for safety begins during the bidding process. The information you need to know to adequately make a bid that may require excavation or trenching includes traffic, nearness of structures and their conditions, types of soil, groundwater, overhead and underground utilities, and the weather. Other conditions can be determined by job site studies, observations, test borings, and by consultations with local officials and utility companies. You must locate any underground installations such as sewer, telephone, water, fuel, cable TV, and electrical lines. If underground utilities are encountered in the digging, they must be properly supported, and the contractor must contact the utility companies involved and inform them of the proposed work. Once you have the preliminaries completed, your safety requirements should be planned to protect the public, the employees, and property. Planning and following through with the plan is the first important step to safety in excavations and trenching operations. Okay, let's take a look at some terminology and on-site safety practices. A trench is referred to as a narrow excavation in which the depth is greater than the width, although the width is not greater than 15 feet. An excavation is any man-made cavity or depression in the Earth's surface. This can include excavations for anything from cellars to highways. Current OSHA regulations require that all excavations over 5 feet deep be sloped, shored, sheeted, braced, or otherwise supported. When soil conditions are unstable, excavations shallower than 5 feet also must be sloped, supported, or shored. You may have heard the term angle of repose. This is a method of ensuring safety in an excavation or trench by sloping the sides of the cut to the angle of repose, which is the angle closest to the perpendicular at which the soil will remain at rest. The angle of repose varies with different kinds of soil and must be determined on each individual project. When an excavation has water conditions, silty material or loose boulders, or when it's being dug in areas where erosion, deep frost, or slide planes are apparent, the angle of repose must be flattened. As you can see in this diagram, each type of soil has varying degrees of angle of repose. Generally, a qualified engineer must determine the proper angle of repose for the specific type of soil condition. A second method of support is shoring sheeting, tightly placed timber shores, bracing, trench jacks, piles, or other materials installed in a manner strong enough to resist the pressures surrounding the excavation. Contractors may also use a trench box, which is a prefabricated movable trench shield composed of steel plates welded to a heavy steel frame. A trench box may be used as long as the protection it provides is equal to or greater than the protection that would be provided by the appropriate shoring system. The soil structure must be carefully identified. Excavations in wet soil, sandy soil, or areas that have been backfilled are relatively unstable and must have strong support. Even hard rock sometimes can be hazardous, as faults in the strata can make it unstable when cut. Changing weather conditions and climate also greatly affect how strong shoring systems must be. Excess water from rain or melting snow loosens the soil, drastically increasing the pressure on the shoring system. A rainstorm can turn a stable trench side that required only light bracing into a mass of loose soil, posing an immediate threat to the employees working within. Shoring frozen ground presents another potential problem. A sudden thaw can undermine an entire section of shoring. Even excessively dry conditions can reduce the cohesiveness of the soil. Large excavations in particular are subject to changing weather conditions because they are generally open for longer periods of time than are trenches. Shoring for these excavations should provide long-range protection for a variety of weather conditions. In some cases, additional precautions are necessary to protect excavation walls, such as covering them with plastic sheeting or spraying the soil bank with a moisture-limiting chemical. Superimposed loads in the vicinity of a trench or excavation increase the pressure on the excavation walls. Heavy equipment and materials such as pipes or timbers should be kept as far back from the excavation as possible. When heavy loads must be located near an excavation, the walls must be braced, sheet piled or shored to safely support the extra weight. In some cases, it may be necessary to lessen the pressure of these loads. Pile drivers or cranes, for example, would be mounted on wooden mats or heavy planking to spread the weight more evenly. Buildings, curbs, trees, utility poles, and other structures adjoining the excavation area also can place more stress on a trench than it can safely accommodate.